And from the Knoxville News Sentinel. Mike, are you a big Styx and Oreo Speedwagon fan?
That's not my choice of classics, if you will. But I will not judge anyone who is. Joe Rexroad, if he hears this, will probably lambaste me for not having better music taste, but I can live with that.
I could see you getting down to a night of Mr. Roboto over at Ascend Amphitheater at by Mike Wilson on Twitter, Knoxville News Sentinel. We were talking about this before you came on. Our shows, we've been on 22 minutes or so roughly, and we were just talking about this team and all the numbers and the eye-popping numbers and just every – but I saw you even tweet about this. 57-9, man. 57-9 is just stupid.
It is, and it's been that way all year, and I can't remember the exact number for Tennessee going back to the start of 2020. They went 15-2 to open 2020. They went 50-18 last year, and then 57-9 this year. It's over, and it's winning more than 80% of your games in a sport that is built for failure. And doing that and dominating to that level is absurd. It doesn't happen. What happened this weekend is what is supposed to happen in baseball. Baseball is supposed to be an equalizer type sport where Tennessee Tech can roll in and beat number one Tennessee on a midweek game because a good pitcher's through. You just don't know. Baseball is such an interesting game like that, and for Tennessee to go 57-9 is absurd. To not reach Omaha, though, is kind of equally absurd when you have a team that good.
So which loss hurt the fan base more? We asked Lucas Panzica. He said basketball, but he said if his investment in baseball was the same, then it would have to be more that one. But which loss hurt more? Basketball, the way their season ended, or baseball, the way their season ended?
Oh, I think it's baseball, no question. I mean, basketball had a Final Four team, you could certainly say, but you're not talking about Tennessee basketball versus the field in that NCAA tournament, which is the conversation for this baseball team, which when you're going into a postseason, being talked about as maybe one of the greatest teams of all time, and it's you versus everyone going into it. It's a legitimate national title contender beyond just getting near it, and Tennessee not to even get that shot to compete for one in Omaha. I think it's baseball, and I don't even know if it's close, honestly.
Mike Wilson, our guest at by Mike Wilson on Twitter, Knoxville News Sentinel. You can read all of his work there.
Well, Mike, this is such a Debbie Downer time. Let me just at least start off with something, positive. How was the atmosphere? Kind of put us there, with everything, until the end.
Yeah, it's really funny to think about because I was covering Tennessee baseball in 2018, 2019, and this wasn't an environment, even for the biggest series. But everything is just so electric around Lindsey Nelson Stadium with this team. I mean, it's packed everywhere. Getting near the ballpark, you feel it. It's a mini version of a Neyland Day, just a more compact, small version, and it's really cool to see how that's grown. And obviously, fan bases gravitate to winners. But I think the relationship between the fan base and this particular baseball team is different than that. I think it just centers on an attitude and the villains chip on the shoulder thing. I think the way that this team approached that very much embodies the Tennessee fan base and wanting it to kind of be an us versus everyone thing. I think that's this fan base, and this baseball team really represented that.
No doubt about it, and now it's going to burn them for a long time. How long do you think this will burn, or will it ever go away, at least for the head coach and especially those seniors there in this loss?
Yeah, I mean, Tony Vitello takes this stuff personally. I mean, I know last year after they lost in Omaha, he was definitely distraught then too, and I'm sure this is one that's going to sting for a while. It's probably the best roster he's had anywhere. He obviously had some talented players at Mizzou, had some really good Arkansas teams in 2015, 2017, that didn't quite achieve what they wanted to either. But that's going to sting with him. And I think just for Tennessee as a whole, any time you have a season with such an incredible one-loss record and, it doesn't end on top, it's tough. It's tough to deal with. I think it's going to be tough for the roster, most of which, starting-wise, is probably going to be gone outside of the starting pitching. You don't see juggernauts quite like this often in any sport outside of Alabama football because it is what it is. But to see that and then to not win it, it stings. And I assume it's going to sting for a while for all those guys.
No doubt about it.